Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of Life with Barry Martins, the podcast series. Yep. Woo! So, I've been coming to you back to back, bumper to bumper in the new year. I hope I keep the energy up because I think I just unconsciously decided to be more active using this medium, or be more active on this medium, because it's easier for me to do this. So today I was reading something in the Bible, not today actually, a few days ago. I was reading something in the Bible, and it occurred to me how this thing was so powerful in our daily life. So what am I talking about? I was reading the story of Saul, and how Saul lost favor with God because Samuel, who was the prophet of God at the time, gave him certain instructions that was God's instruction for him to go in and decimate a particular nation and their people. Now, the argument on whether it was right or wrong, or whether God was fair to order a king to go and kill a particular people and utterly destroy them, is a discussion for another day. But my crux, or the focus of my interaction this evening, is the cause and effect, or what Saul was asked to do, what he did, and who he blamed. Right? So the Bible recorded that God told Saul through the prophet. So let's keep that in mind. The prophet told Saul that God said, right, go to the Amalekites, they kill and destroy everything totally, right? So now Saul goes, and then they kill the people, they keep the king, then they choose some of the choice animals, goats, cow, ram, and the rest of them. They chose some of the choice animals and kept to go with as lots or as spoil of war, right? And when Samuel came and said to Saul, have you done what God asked you to do? He said, yes, I've done everything. We've killed everything, but we kept. So no, he didn't even say it. He didn't even say what he did. He just said that, yes, we've done it. So Samuel now asked him, what is this noise I'm hearing in the backyard? What is this noise I'm hearing around? Everything is supposed to be dead here. So he said, that they actually kept behind some of the cow and goat and sheep and the livestock. And so I was like, why? He said that the people, that he was afraid of the people, that the people pressured him to do it, that he was afraid of the people. And immediately it struck me how people can influence our lives, how people can get you. That singular action was the beginning of the end of the divine relationship between Samuel the prophet and Saul the king on behalf of God. That from that very moment, their relationship began to go down, and I began to think about how people influence us a lot. First of all, in that text, how can you, a king, be telling the prophet that the people, that you were afraid of the people, that was why you kept some of the sheep and the goats, and you disobeyed an instruction given to you by God, in quotes, to execute a particular judgment in a particular way? You were scared and you were afraid of the people. How can a king make decisions based on the sentiments of people? How can you, as a leader, be making decisions based on what people are saying? So it is the people that are now controlling your decision. I'm not saying that he shouldn't have listened to the people, but I'm saying that he should have weighed the consequence of what the people were saying with the consequence of what he was told. It was a divine instruction, or so we believe. Within the context of that scripture, it was a divine instruction. Go to Amalekite and do X, Y, Z. And there was a consequence. And we saw that consequence because Samuel now said to him, Samuel said to him that is sacrifice better than obedience? He asked him, is sacrifice better than obedience? Or he told him that obedience is better than sacrifice. Obedience meaning it's better for you to obey the instruction that you are given than for you to do your own thing, and then you are coming to come and now use sacrifice. Are you trying to bribe God or what? So the first thing that stood out for me was how, for the fear of the people, that the people would get whatever the reason was around his statement of the fear of the people, his excuse of the fear of the people, right, was the reason why he did not execute everything God told him to execute, because he wanted to please the people or be on the side of the people, or he was afraid of the people. So a lot of moving parts are in this particular text. Number one, why are you afraid of the people who you are supposed to lead to war and bring back, or lead as a leader? Why are you afraid of them? Why are you taking decision based on fear, so that they will not overthrow you, so that you will not run out of favor with the people? Hello. It just began to bring me to how many leaders that are out there that are taking decisions based on the sentiments of people, based on them being afraid of how other persons will see them. How much of your life is dependent on you and what God has told you to do, or what vision, the vision you're running with your life, and how much of your life is dependent on the responses and the reactions of people? How much of the control of your life have you relinquished to people? How much of the control of your life have you relinquished to people? Now, when it comes to people, there are different categories of influence that people can have over your life because of how you look at them. First, there's fear of running out of favor with the people, right? 2, then there is the part of you depending on the validation of the people. How many are you waiting for people to validate you on a mission or a vision or a mandate that God has given you? And it happens to a lot of us in our lives. Maybe you have served several leaders, and then maybe God is now calling you to start something, start a business, start a church, start a project, leave a particular job. But you are still calculating, what will my boss say if I leave now? But meanwhile, you know that within your heart, it's time for me to leave. I have to leave this job, or I have to go and start my own business. You're calculating, what will my boss say if I leave him now? Or I need his validation. And then you are waiting for him to tell you, oh, go. And he's not telling you go. And he wants you to stay because you are a vital part of his construction. He sees you as he deems fit. He sees you as part of the wheels in his machinery. And meanwhile, it's time for you to go and start your own industry or your own company and build your own machinery. But someone is still seeing you as part of his boys. So then you are trying to get his validation, trying to get his opinion, and he's not giving it to you, and you are stuck there. 2, the validation of people who are onlookers. For example, you are in an industry, or you are in a church, you are in an organization, and then you want to do something. You have a vision to do something. You have received a vision to run with something, but you're waiting for validation from people. for people to now, decide and say, you know what, we support you. Many times people do not support a nobody. If you are starting something new, maybe you are running for a leadership position, presidency, or of a department or an institution or a nation, and you're waiting for people to give you their validation, there's a high probability that they will not. People have a way of joining when the journey starts, not when the journey is still being planned. A lot of people do not jump on something when it's still in the infant stage, when it's still in the planning stage. A lot of people, because people have a way of only believing when they see. That is why they say that success has many cousins. I don't know how they say success has many relatives. People have a way of associating with success, but at that moment when you are still about to start, when you are not a success yet, when you are still raw diamonds, you don't look like the finished product, very few people want to be associated with you. That is the reason why you can't be waiting for people's validation. You can't be waiting for people to validate you, and that thing breeds insecurity. When you're waiting for people to validate you and they are not validating you. I remember sometime in my life, and I've said this several times. I remember a particular time in my life when I was trying to pursue a career as an artist, and I recorded a song and I sent it to some persons I felt that I was close to, who were going to encourage me. I felt I needed their validation, for them to validate me, to tell me, oh wow, you did it, you tried. And one of them told me, oh Martins, this is a no for me. And no, there was no one word of encouragement. She just told me no, this was a no for me. And no wasn't what I wanted to hear at the time. What I wanted to hear was, you tried though, this was a good effort, But she did not commend anything. She just told me this was a no, and that was it. There was no discussion, there was no, explaining, there was no trying to, highlight the things I did right, and then the ones that I didn't, and then now tell me about the ones I didn't do right. No, it was a straight, this was a no, and that killed my spirit. Like it quenched the fire and the zeal, right, with which I had started that journey to be a recording artist. And that day I learned a vital lesson about how to encourage people. But then again, I should have in the first place not let the opinion of that one person define or determine how I see myself. But on the other hand, what I'm trying to say is that if you're waiting for people to give you validation for the things you want to do or the things you want to start, you will never get it. Some people will catch up with you as you start the journey. Some people will begin to believe in you as you start the journey. Some people will begin to see how good you are as a leader when you begin to lead. So sometimes you need to begin to create a pedigree so that people will now believe you. Because many times nobody knows who you are or what you're capable of until you begin or you start something. Until you begin to position yourself as somebody that should be revered, as somebody that should be respected, as somebody that has capacity, ability to perform, as somebody that has the willpower to do stuff. So people have a lot of control. People have a lot of control over the life of other persons. And then why do you want to give the key of your happiness, the key of your success to people? Very important that we should pay attention to these things as a leader who God has called, or you are running a mandate, a company, a business, an organization, you're leading an institution. Make sure that the decisions that you are taking and whatever is inspiring the moves you're making is not people's sentiment. Because People are like water. They flow wherever the path takes them. They flow wherever they want, however they want. So you have to be the hand that guides. Because who said that thing? I think someone said that thing, that the masses have never sustained any change that they inspired. The masses have never sustained any change that they inspired. People can inspire something, but it takes a leader to sustain it. It takes a leadership to sustain it. That is my discourse this evening. I read that scripture and I felt it was so powerful, and I felt I needed to share from it. Saul told Samuel that he was afraid of the people's reaction, because apparently the people had come, they had fought a war, they were expecting to have spoil, and it was God's intention that the spoil would not be from what he had already commanded, that they kill everything, that they decimate everything. And back in those days, if you go to war and fight, you need to take some spoil. You need to take some cattle, that. In fact, that's the main reason why people fought, so that they can take by force the property of the other persons. And so the people were expecting that as a reward, and for fear of not displeasing the people or not giving them what they want, Saul runs into disfavor with God. Saul runs into disfavor with God, and from that moment, the tide, the relationship, the tie between him and God turned around. You have to be careful, brethren, my friends, not to run into disfavor with the person who sent you on an errand just because you're trying to please the people who were subjects or participants, not leader, participants in the errand. I'm not saying that as a leader you shouldn't look after your people. You should look after your people, but not at the displeasure of the person that sent you on the errand. Because your loyalty should be to the person, the main leader that sent you on the errand. Because that's the person that really has the power. That's the person that knows how to reward you for executing the judgment, or executing the project, or executing the instruction to the T. And it could have been a test to see if you would stand your ground, because the thing about leadership is that people want different things. Different people want different things in life. Everybody's talking from where it is pinching them. People are never united in a thing. The people or the masses as a whole always have ulterior motive, personal interest in anything that they are coming together to do. So as a leader, you must learn how to look at the national interest or the universal interest and have it as the focus or the core reason why you are executing whatever project or whatever mission you're executing at the time. And then that your loyalty remains with the real person who sent you on the errand. Now, it doesn't mean you shouldn't listen to the people, but you should have a way to make the people understand that this thing we are doing, we didn't just eat. I'm not the leader. Somebody sent us, and that person has given us a specific instruction on what to do. And it was a non-arguable situation. We're not going to be able to argue it. So let's execute it and go. There will always be another time for us to get something, or to achieve something, or to get spoil from from what we have been asked to do. So brothers and sisters, men and brethren, thank you for listening to me this evening. I hope you learned a thing or two about leadership and about not letting people have the control of your life, because it's too much power it's too much power in the hands of people that they literally define and determine how you run with your life, how you run with the vision that you have. No, you can't give people that kind of power over you. You determine how people will see you and how they will respond to you. And trust me, when you make that move, you start that journey, you stay on it, people will start agreeing. They'll start joining you. They'll start committing to you. You know, I can begin to give a lot of examples. A friend of mine who was a pastor started a church 2019. When he started, there were just few handful. It used to be a prayer meeting. So from the moment he turned, he said, oh, now we are going to start a church. A lot of people who were coming to the prayer meeting didn't even come for the first service for the first 1 year. For the first 6 months of the church, they did not come. Because for them, he was okay to be the prayer leader, but he wasn't okay to be their pastor. He was qualified to help them to get things from God with prayer on a weekday, but he wasn't qualified for them in their eyes. He wasn't qualified to be a pastor to them. But guess what? He persisted. He was consistent. He kept doing it. Sunday service, Wednesday service, full-blown church. Despite the drastic drop in the people, the amount of people who were coming for the church when it now became a church, and he stopped the prayer. The prayer was holding weekdays in someone's place. But guess what? As of today, which is January 2022, the church has maxed out 2 locations. 2 locations. From just a few handful of people, there is probably like 20 to over 300, 400 in less than 2 years. You know, that's the power of staying true to the person that called you. Thank you, and God bless you. My name is Barry Martins. Have an amazing day, and see you next time. Bye.